thought about this like a week ago, but I was gonna let it slide, because I don't want to keep talking about this, right? Because I know I already brought this up in other videos, but it's not going away. It's like I look on my YouTube subscriptions every day, and the media, the boxing media, I don't really care what the YouTube channels do. If you have a personal YouTube channel like myself, you can make whatever video you want. Okay? It is what it is. But if you're the boxing media, why is the boxing media pushing this whole narrative that Keith Thurman is avoiding this guy, Errol Spence? Okay? Errol Spence didn't fight Kell Brook yet. That fight is coming up very soon. And I'm seeing nothing but Keith Thurman this, Keith Thurman that. Keith Thurman already beat Danny Garcia a couple months ago. Like, Errol Spence is just now getting his shot. Okay? He's just now about to prove himself. Regardless of how personally how good I think he is, he's still yet to prove that. I personally think he's good. If you saw my last breakdown, my very last video, you understand what I'm talking about. I personally think Errol Spence is good. But he has to still prove it. I could go on to say that Errol Spence could beat Floyd Mayweather. Well, he hasn't done anything to prove that yet. It's just my own personal opinion. Whatever. But, Keith Thurman. I was thinking about this last week, and I said, at this very point of Keith Thurman's career, he has no core fan base. He has fans, obviously, but this guy, at one point, people wanted him to get his shot at the top dogs at the welterweight division when he was calling all of them out. All of them. Okay? Then he started getting some big wins in there. Okay? He got the Guerrero win. He got the Sean Porter win. He got the Danny Garcia win. Okay? He's unified. The guy got 2 titles. Okay? He wanted the Floyd fight. Floyd wouldn't give it to him. Okay? He went on there and tried to get Sean Porter and Keith Thurman to fight Errol Spence. Alright? And ever since that happened, it's like, I don't know what happened. Because the guys that are mainly strictly fans of the HBO fighters, like the Manny Pacquiaos and the Tim Bradleys or whatever, all right? When Keith Thurman was calling those guys out, like Manny Pacquiao, the Pacquiao fans was like, yo, this guy didn't fight anyone. Why does he think he deserved a shot at Manny Pacquiao? He has no name. I'm talking about the fanboys, right? Then you got the Mayweather fanboys that are still pissed off that he was calling out Floyd Mayweather. Because that's what it's really about. If Floyd Mayweather never came out and said, yo, these guys could fight Errol Spence for my belt. I'll give up my belt. They could fight for my belt. And this is when I was saying back then, I'm like, nah, Floyd, why don't you fight Sean Porter? Why don't you fight Keith Thurman yourself? Errol Spence ain't at that level yet. Regardless of how good he looks to us, he hasn't done shit to prove it. Keith Thurman has done his work. Sean Porter. Even Danny Garcia. Like, yo, these guys have done stuff in their career. Now they got to shut everything down for Errol Spence? I saw the interview with Errol Spence and Gervonta Tank Davis, and I saw, Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. I saw it, and I didn't think anything of it. I watched it, and I was like, okay, well, he calls out, he says he wants to fight Floyd, he wants to fight a legend. So he says he wants to fight Floyd, but he knows Floyd is fighting Conor, so he's not getting that. Then he says, hopefully I get the Pacquiao fight. Pacquiao has a belt. Hopefully I get that fight. He's a legend, right? We can all agree that he's a legend. All right? Probably make more money fighting Manny Pacquiao than any other active welterweight right now, right? You know, you go to HBO, fight Pacquiao in whatever country he wants to fight at, make a lot of money, okay? Great opportunity, you know, if you could beat Pacquiao, maybe possibly retire him, you know? I think if Pacquiao were to fight Keith Thurman right now, outside of Floyd Mayweather, I think Keith Thurman would have a better chance of beating Manny Pacquiao than anybody that Manny Pacquiao has faced since he got knocked out. So, what's wrong with him saying Manny Pacquiao? Okay? And then he goes next. You got your boy Errol right here. He's about to fight Kell Brook. All right? I could possibly see him fighting them in the future. You know, because those are the other two that has a belt. Or Kell Brook has the belt. Let's not say Errol Spence. Because I'm hearing people say Errol Spence. Errol Spence didn't fight Kell Brook yet. Like, I was going to say this in that prediction video and that breakdown, but I just let it slide. But is it me, or if you're watching all of these Errol Spence videos, it seems like he's totally looking past Kell Brook already. And so are his fans. You know? I mean, I'm a fan myself, but I want to see Errol if Eric will really beat this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm slow on my roll. I'm like, you know what? I ain't going to go too far with it, because if he ends up losing to Kell Brook, you know what's going to happen, right? Oh, this dude, he's overrated. Look at him. You know, we already know what's going to happen. So I'm chilling. Let's see who wins this fight. You know? Every single interview is about everybody else but Kell Brook. I'm hearing Thurman's, and you know what? It's not all of his fault, because the media is asking this. And this is the problem I have with the media right now, because it's like, yo, he's fighting Kell Brook. And Errol is just like, now I know like some of the interviews could get boring when they're like, listen, this is all I'm looking for right now. I'm looking towards this guy. I'm looking towards this guy right now. You know, I'm looking towards Kell Brook. I'm not really thinking about Keith Thurman. But Errol's like, yeah, well, I'm going to fight Keith Thurman. He ain't going to have no choice but to fight me. Now, that's great that he has confidence going into this fight. That's great. Like I said in my breakdown, I think Errol is winning the mental war of this fight with Kell Brook, because he's extremely confident. He's already looking past Kell Brook. He hardly ever talks about him, because he's like, I'm going to get my title from him, bring it back, and I'm fighting Keith Thurman. That's all he's talking about. He's not talking about Manny Pacquiao. He's not talking about him. He's just strictly talking about Keith Thurman. I want to fight with Keith Thurman. He has no choice. He can't go nowhere. He can't run. He can't hide. When I win this title, Keith Thurman, Keith Thurman, Keith Thurman. But the thing is, he hasn't won yet. So what are y'all expecting? You want Thurman to go up there and say, I'm looking to fight this man right here. If you don't get that, oh, he's ducking, he's scared. He's scared of Errol Spence. Look at him, look at his body language. Yo, the dude said, I want to fight Floyd. Then went from Floyd to Pacquiao. Then went from Pacquiao to the winner of Errol Spence and Kell Brook. He didn't say anybody else in between that. So I don't get why people are trashing this man. Like, this guy, you know, and you know, people want to sit here and talk about supporting fighters and stuff, certain fighters, because of their race or demographic, or, you know, where they're from, whatever. But yo, who is supporting this guy? Because this guy, it seems like he's getting hated. I'm starting to believe he's boxing's most hated at this point. You know, he is boxing's most hated. Like, the dude didn't do shit wrong. He's having good fights. He didn't fight any bums at no point. At no point he fought any bums. I mean, yeah, all right. Sean Porter. You know, I remember when people were saying, yo, where's Keith Thurman? Because it was a little while where we didn't hear anything from Keith Thurman for months. We didn't hear no interviews. We all heard that they were trying to set up the fight with Sean Porter. He went months. We didn't hear from him. There was no interviews. There was no media coverage. There was nothing. All right? And then he just popped up. when a fight got announced. All right, but the key thing in that is that the fight was announced between him and Porter. So regardless of how we feel about him disappearing, he still fought Sean Porter. That's like now with Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev. People were going, oh, he shouldn't fight anybody next. He shouldn't fight anyone next. But Sergey Kovalev, he needs to give Kovalev his rematch. He shouldn't be fighting. He shouldn't be trying to become undisputed. He shouldn't be trying to do anything but fighting Sergey Kovalev. He shouldn't retire. He's scared. Okay, but now he's fighting Sergey Kovalev in his very next match. He wasn't under pressure. The only thing I heard him say is, well, if I'm going to fight him, it got to be well worth it. That's all he said. You know, yeah, he brought up possibly retiring and stuff like that, but he said, if I'm going to fight him again, it got to be worth it for me, financially. And now we're getting a rematch in less than 6 months in his very next fight. So shut up. There's no ducking if he's fighting him in his next fight. Nobody want to be patient no more. And this is what I was saying about Kell Brook and Errol Spence before. Let the guy prove that he's the best. We can all have our opinions, all right? It's all subjective until they actually fight, though. Don't be going crazy. Oh, this guy's ducking him. Like, as a boxer, this is why a lot of boxers go on and do what they feel like doing. Because, like Danny Garcia, for example, this is why Danny Garcia does what he wants to do. Because you're going to criticize him anyway, regardless of what he do. He fight a good fighter and have a tough fight with him, you're going to say, oh, he sucks. He just, he ain't shit. You're going to criticize him anyway, you know? You're going to criticize him the same way you criticize him when he fights a bum. You know? It's like, I get it. I don't like it, but I understand. It's not me. It's the fanboys that's going crazy. Like, yo, dude, Keith Thurman has fought nothing but good fighters, and he's still undefeated. You know, he had one debatable fight with Sean Porter. So what? What did the dude do to you guys to just... It's just, everything is centered on Keith Thurman. When this guy has his first real test coming up, Keith Thurman already been tested multiple times. He's been tested. Okay, he fought a fighter that Floyd fought before. Okay, knocked him down. Arguably did better than Floyd in that fight. Okay, he fought Sean Porter. He fought Danny Garcia, gave him his first loss. Okay, I mean, what's the problem? Can we be a little patient and see what Errol Spence do with Kell Brook and stop looking past Kell Brook? Because before Errol Spence became the mandatory and when Kell Brook was doing his thing, everybody was sitting here talking about how good Kell Brook was. You know, and soon to see is the mandatory to fight Errol Spence is like, or as soon as Errol Spence is his mandatory, is like, oh, Errol Spence is just going to go clean him up and take his belt and bring it back home. And it might actually happen. But can we at least wait and see what happens? Because we're not going to act like Kell Brook is not one of the elite fighters at 147. We're not going to do that. Okay? Because I can remember when Kell Brook was scheduled to fight Gennady Golovkin, it was people here saying that Kell Brook was the most skilled Golovkin opponent. People were saying that. Kell Brook was Golovkin's most skilled opponent, even though he was smaller. So we're going to just throw that out the window, and because Errol Spence is fighting him, we're already looking past Kell Brook now. Now we're just looking past the dude. Like, all right, Errol Spence is going to clean him up easy. I just don't get the logic of people. Maybe it's just me. If it is just me, put that in the comments. Let me know. Because I don't get the logic of anyone that thinks this man is just going up there. People expect him to go up there and act the way he was when he was on the bottom. Of course, Errol Spence wants to fight Keith Thurman right now because he's on the come up. Keith Thurman already got 2 titles. He's chilling. Errol Spence is trying to prove himself. Keith Thurman was once trying to prove himself. Now he's trying to, create a legacy here. Now he's trying to make money. Errol Spence ain't reached that point yet. Where Errol Spence is right now, Keith Thurman was at in 2013, 2014. He's already past that. I don't get why people don't think that. It's really simple. It's really simple. Yet people are looking way past that. This guy has done work and y'all disrespecting him like the dude's not even fighting right now. I don't get it. And I don't know why the boxing media is pushing it so hard. I'm telling you, I hope Errol Spence win with this, the way this is going, because this is going to be listen, Kell Brook is a good fighter. And I'm going to the thing with me is, if Errol loses this fight, it's not going to change one thing with me. Because I think he's fighting a really good fighter. So it's not going to change my opinion on him at all. I already broke that down. But you guys out there, if Errol loses this fight, the supporters are still going to support. But all that rah, 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 that's going to chill. That's going to calm down. You know why? Because it shouldn't have been going on in the first place. I hope he wins. Because he's going to have a lot of heat coming down on him. And he could forget about that Keith Thurman fight if he loses this fight. He's going to have to build himself back up again to fight Keith Thurman. And it doesn't matter what I think of the outcome of the fight is. I'm not talking about who I personally think is going to win the fight, because they haven't fought. I could say I think Errol Spence is going to beat Keith Thurman. Then the next guy could say, well, I think Keith Thurman is going to beat Errol Spence. Keith Thurman is proven. What I'm going to say to that? Even if I disagree, it's a good point. That simple. It's an opinion. It has to be proven, though. Keith Thurman is more proven than this kid. Regardless of what I see with my eyes, Keith Thurman has proven himself. Let's not forget that. Because everyone just, I don't know. It's been like the last year or two. It's like the more Keith Thurman does, the less people think of him. And I don't think he has a core fan base right now. I went to his fight with Danny Garcia, and there's more people booing Keith Thurman in the fight coming into the ring. There's more Danny Garcia fans. Maybe it's because he's from Philly and he's fought at the Barclays, so he probably has a fan base here. But I don't know. I'm going to leave it at that, man. Make sure y'all subscribe. Leave comments. Let me know what you think, man.